So there was an interesting conversation I was seeing on Twitter recently around what happens when developers are promoted into a managerial position, and how they can end up being sort of unhappy in that role. And I think it's a very common pattern that you see, right? As a developer, you do a good job, you become a senior developer. The next step is that you're managing people. And I kind of feel like maybe roughly speaking, like 20% of developers will really thrive as managers, as essentially non-developers, and like 80% will thrive as being developers primarily, maybe with some minimal management components. Um, but there was an interesting discussion. A buddy of mine was saying, referencing the Peter principle, which is the principle that in most organizational hierarchies, every employee rises in the hierarchy through promotion until they reach a level of incompetence. And once they reach that level, they're kind of done rising. And I think there's definitely that's an interesting observation for sure. And I think there's obviously some truth to that. What I think, though, is that there is sort of a flaw in the hierarchy itself. So if you assume that the correct hierarchy is developer, senior developer, manager, then I agree with what my buddy said. It's cut and dry. You rise through that hierarchy until, guess what? You're not very competent as a manager. And by the way, I can say this real confidently because that's me. I'm not a great manager. And so you hit that level and then you're done, right? So on that level, I agree, but I think that the organizational hierarchies themselves are wrong. Like I really think that sort of the primary career track for maybe 80% of developers, 60% should be that you stay a developer, you become more and more productive as a developer so that you're increasing the value that you can provide. And then you can just move up a career ladder where you're making more money progressively, becoming more productive and more valuable, without having to get into sort of management. So that's kind of my take on it. Would love to hear any feedback on that.